Greetings programs, welcome back to the Game Grid. You're back with Gaming Magic Mark. It's Baldur's Gate 3, and in this video I want to take a look at Paladins. Now Paladin is one of the most popular 5th edition tabletop classes, and with good reason. It's super powerful, it's always got something to do. You're going to be the face of the party, you're going to heal the party, you're going to buff the party, you're going to protect them with auras, you're going to combat your enemies with some pretty powerful abilities like Smites, for example, and you get a whole bunch of spells which are very powerful in their own right as well, and you're going to feel like you've got something to do at all times. And what's awesome about it is that you really feel like you could stand on your own and take on a whole group of enemies just to protect the rest of your party members. So it works great as a pseudo tank, it works great as a pseudo healer, it's great in its own right, and in role-playing situations, if that's what you like to do, it's going to be one of the more challenging ones as a class to pick, because maintaining your oath, that's what paladins use in order to power their skills. They are a warrior of virtue, of worth, and of honor, and they take an oath in order to protect the weak, or to take vengeance against a particular entity or against evildoers in general, and they try to live by that. And so maintaining that oath can be one of the more satisfying things to do, and possibly even breaking it, and something is going to happen in game as a result of that. Now, what that means is that paladins are going to be a great choice for you, especially if you're new to the game. You want to be able to feel like you're not going to just crumble and fold at the hint of enemy pressure. Then a paladin is going to be that rock upon which the waves of evil are going to beat upon, and you're going to not break, and you're going to hold the line as such. It's fantastic, and it really makes you feel like you're enjoying the game, I'm sure. In addition to that, there are 3 subclasses that you can pick from level 1, but you're going to potentially be able to unlock a 4th subclass, and we'll talk about that right at the end of the video. I'll warn you that there will be spoilers ahead, just in case you don't want to hear anything about that 4th subclass and potentially how you might unlock it. So I'll leave that for the end of the video, and we'll talk about the 3 that you can pick right from the get-go. Here we go. There's Layla, and she's got her glaive. We're going to get to talk to Withers.
Fate, dost thou
Let's get
require
a
new ally
class
as the
respec going here, so that I can show you some aspects about the Paladin class and its subclasses. Now, firstly, Paladin, like we said, is fueled by the oath. You swore to uphold justice and righteousness. You're a beacon of hope in dark times. You get the ability to lay on hands, to heal, and also to cure your friends of disease and poisons. You can potentially have advantage on the likes of enemies like celestials, fiends, and undead. And you also get channel oath charges, which means that some abilities that you can take which are spell-like will be fueled by those instead of spell slots. And if you're wondering, yes, you do get spell slots as well. Now, your charisma is what fuels things like spell casting and your auras. This is another feature that you get later on. You get auras of protection, of warding, and so forth, depending on what kind of subclass you pick. So you're going to want a high strength. This is because you're combatant, particularly a melee combatant, double-handed or maybe a single-handed or two-handed weapons. You can also use a shield, for example, to great effect. And talking of that, you can pick most weapons in the game, most armor, and so generally speaking, you'll have an interest in any items that come up of an armor or a weapon nature. You also have certain skills, and I would say just watch out for, most skills are great, but deception might be one that could put your oath at risk, so just be careful of that one, because lying and cheating, manipulating the truth is maybe not in line with paladin virtues. Okay, certain of the paladin subclasses are going to be okay with that, but some are not. You'll also want to have a reasonably high charisma, because as I say, that will determine how many spells you can cast, and some of the other spell-like abilities that you have will benefit from a high charisma. What that also means is that strength-based classes like Barbarian and Fighter benefit from multi-classing with a Paladin. Charisma-based classes like Sorcerer, Warlock, and Bard will also benefit from multi-classing with a Paladin. In fact, some of the most powerful builds that you can multi-class with are going to involve a Paladin and one of those that I mentioned, like Sorcerer, Warlock, or Bard. I myself have tried Bard and Paladin together, and it is a blast. Absolutely fantastic. If you're looking for a real blast, then a Warlock plus a Paladin, trust me, that one is fantastic. I'll do the multiclassing in another video, but just to say that if you choose Paladin and then you want to multiclass at some later stage, it's a great choice. It's a great way of doing it. Okay, so next thing is let's go to the subclasses, and we say, okay, there's Oath of Ancients, Oath of the Ancients, Oath of Devotion, Oath of Vengeance. Each one of them is a great choice. They each have their benefits, certain spells that maybe aren't in the standard spell list that you can pick from. You get given to those to you as benefits of being a particular subclass. Oath of Devotion is more of a protection. Oath of Vengeance is more of a combat and dealing damage against those who have done wrong to you, or those who have done wrong to those who need your help and protection. You're delivering justice and vengeance against those who have committed grievous sins. Just something to note with your subclass choice, you do get told of the Oath of Vengeance tenets, the Oath of Devotion tenets, and the Oath of the Ancients tenets. These are hints as to how you would maintain your oath. For example, if you chose Oath of Devotion, and that's of courage, of compassion, and of duty, and then you go and you bend the truth and you lie, or you to a good person, you go and attack or kill someone who really was not in your way or causing mischief for you or your party, that's possibly going to put your oath at risk. So keep that in mind. And if you want to have an easier ride, if you're newer to the game and you don't want to risk breaking your oath quite as often, there's more leeway with the Oath of Vengeance. That's more about fighting the greater evil, no mercy for the wicked, and so you're going to find that much easier to maintain. Just looking at each of the subclasses in turn, remember, I'll deal with a fourth subclass that you can unlock through gameplay at a later point in this video towards the end, and I'll give you a warning that there will be spoilers ahead, just in case you don't want to know about that. Oath of the Ancients is the first one, and that's more like a Green Knight type, from mythology point of view of nature and life and preserving those and fighting against darkness with forces of light. Great thing about Oath of the Ancients, straight off the bat, you get Healing Radiance, so you can AoE heal some of your party members who are near to you. You can heal them for a certain number of hit points this turn and also next turn as well. And just a word again on before we move off the screen, just a word on the ability scores. Yes, you'll have noticed that I haven't min-maxed those or tried to optimize them. I'm just going with the defaults. Please understand that that is something that you should do. Go into abilities and maximize what you need around strength and charisma and any other abilities that make sense. I'm not going to do that, but we move swiftly on. So Oath of the Ancients, let's just take a quick look, and we level up Oath of the Ancients. I'm not going to spend much time at each level or even talk about the spells, because they tend to be spells that other classes do have access to, mostly, except for the Smites. And the Smites are Thunderous, Searing, and also Wrathful Smite. Just pay attention to the fact that they often need both an action and a bonus action, and some of them need a level of concentration that maintains the sub-effect that gets applied, such as Frightening with Wrathful Smite. If you want the enemy to continue to be frightened, you have to maintain concentration. At level 2, which is a good dip level for anyone multi-classing in, you start with 2 levels of Paladin. That gives you the heavy armor, gives you the martial weapons, gives you your smites at level 2, also gives you your spells and spell slots at level 2, and also gives you a fighting style, a little bit like fighters get. For example, you could pick great weapon fighting or dueling. Great 2-level dip in there for many multi-classing builds, so something to consider. You may want to go to level 5 or level 6, because level 5 gives you an extra attack, level 6 gives you your first aura of protection, and so you may just want to consider that. I'm just going to pick great weapon fighting and we move forward. Again, your choices are up to you and your mileage may vary. I just want to give you basically some class and subclass flavor. You can see that at level 3, the Oath of the Ancients gets Turn the Faithless and Nature's Wrath. Nature's Wrath, restraining an enemy, can't move, misses a lot, and is easy to hit. And that expends a Channel Oath charge. You also get Druid or Ranger-like spells, like Speak with Animals, Ensnaring Strike ranged, which is interesting so that you have those capabilities. And then I just want to show you level 5. So level 4 is notable for the feat. Let's just pick Great Weapon Master, move on. Again, your choice of feat is entirely up to you. Level 5, we have the extra attack. We also get level 2 spells, and we also get, because we're Oath of the Ancients, we get Misty Step and Oath and Moonbeam. Because we're Oath of the Ancients, we'll get others if we chose Oath of Devotion or Oath of well, Oath of Vengeance. You'll get other Oath spells at level 5. So that's another possible level you want to get to before moving on to other multi-classing. And level 6 also gives you your aura. So level 2 and level 6 tend to be the multi-class levels that folks kind of stretch to. You know, if they're not going full deep into the Paladin leveling, and that's because of those abilities. And then from that point on, it's only minor improvements, and it's much better to maybe level up into other multi-classes, other classes as your multi-class build. Let's go to respec and let's go take a look at the other subclasses. We'll start with Oath of Devotion.
A new ally.
So we multi-class, we single class into Paladin or respec into Paladin, Oath of Devotion. You see there you get Holy Rebuke. Now that's different to the AoE heal. Everything else is pretty similar. Oath of Devotion tenets are different. Courage, compassion, duty. So you want to watch that one. That's probably one of the hardest ones to maintain your oath. Leveling that up. Let's just see how that differs. At level 2, not much different. Get the smites and we get the spells and the fighting style. So we move on to level 3. That's when we get something that's different. Oath of Devotion. Instead of what we had before, which was ensnaring our enemy, we get Sacred Weapon, which turns your weapon into a sacred weapon. Gives it some buffs and benefits. We also get the Sanctuary spell of note. That's awesome. Great spell. That's going to help you a lot. I promise you that. Level 4 is no different, really. We get the feat and charge, oath charge. And then, so I'll just pick Great Weapon Master again. Let's go. Level 5, we get the increased number of attacks, so an extra attack. And we also get oath spells. In this case, we get Lesser Restoration and Silence. I prefer Oath of the Ancients 2 spells at this level, but you know, it very much varies according to what you want to do and your playstyle, what might benefit from you. Oath of Devotion has some very cool spells that it unlocks. Are they as good as Oath of the Ancients? Who knows? Oath of Vengeance or the other multi-class as well. So I'll just show you level 6 because they do get a different aura. Okay, they get they get a different aura at level 7. Aura Protection is the same. That's the Paladin class aura at level 7. They will get Aura of Devotion, which is you can't be charmed. That is different to Aura of Warding, which is what the Oath of the Ancients gets. Okay, let's take a look at Oath of Vengeance. Now, one benefit of Oath of Vengeance is the fact that you are able to be a little bit looser with your role-playing and gameplay. You're much less likely to trigger your oath, or break your oath, I should say. And so it can be a good one if you're worried about that, if you're newer to the game and you're concerned about breaking your oath unwittingly. Oath of Vengeance is going to be a great choice. You get Inquisitor's Might, which is a channel oath charge. The bonus action adds 2 additional radiant damage and can daze enemies for 1 turn. That's pretty good. I'm not sure it's as good as an AoE heal of Oath of the Ancients, but there we go. Let's go through. Again, level 2 is where we get our smites, and our spells, and our fighting styles. No different there. And level 3 is where we get our slight difference. And of course, we'll take a look at level 5 and level 7 as well. So you can see there, Abjure Enemy and Vow of Enmity. So if you want to frighten an enemy, they get disadvantage if they're fiends or undead. Certainly frightening an enemy is going to make it easier to hit them. That's great. And Vow of Enmity, again, advantage on attack rolls. So if you want to be able to attack with better ease. Also you get Bane and you get Hunter's Mark. Hunter's Mark is great, obviously similar to the Ranger ability or spell, and that's wonderful if you're looking to take out those who have wronged you, or where you want to take vengeance against them. Spells are pretty much the same. Level 4 we get defeat. Let's just pick the same one, doesn't really matter. It does matter, of course, but like I say, you choose whichever one sounds good to you, or which works. Extra attack at level 5, and also the Oath spells are Hold Person and Misty Step. So you get the Misty Step a bit like Oath of the Ancients, and you get Hold Person, which actually is a very nice, it scales with higher spell slots, so you can actually affect more than one person at a time. And just going through to level 6, we get our Aura of Protection, and we'll go through to level 7 and just see how that aura is different for Oath of Vengeance. Okay, here we go. It's in fact, it's not an aura. Sorry, it's Relentless Avenger. If you hit an enemy with an opportunity attack, your movement speed increases. This actually doubles with some nice feats where I think it's Sentinel, possibly, where you can make opportunity attacks and sort of stop your enemies in their tracks. That might work really well with that, so you can zoom across the battlefield. So there we go. Now, spoilers ahead, because that is the 3 subclasses that I wanted to take a look at, and I want to talk about the 4th one now. And so we're going to take a look in just a second. So if you don't want to know more about the 4th subclass, you want to unlock it without really worrying about how it goes, then please look away now. Okay, here we are, and we're back, and it's the last opportunity for you. Just if you don't want to hear about the spoilers, you don't want to hear about this 4th subclass of Paladin, then stop the video now, and thank you very much for watching. If you do want to, then let's continue. Let's take a look. So here we are, and here's our friend here who's joined our camp, and he's called the Oathbreaker Knight. So if you happen to break your oath, even deliberately or unwittingly, what ends up happening is he comes comes to you at one night, and he kind of tells you, you kind of feel strange. You feel like you might have done something bad. Comes and tells you that you've broken your oath. And now you need to decide what to do with it. Gives you some options. One of those options is actually to pursue the Oathbreaker subclass, and that gives you totally different abilities. He does give you the option to, at some later stage, regain your oath. He tells you how to do that. I want to take the opportunity just to show you the progression. Once you have picked, or if you decide to pick the Oathbreaker Paladin option. So I've gone to level 2 and now going to level 3, and you can see the level 2 is exactly the same with the Smites and so forth. Level 3 is different, and so what we get is we get our Oathbreaker option, and we get still the Divine Health, so we still get Preventing Disease, not worried about that, but Control Undead and Dreadful Aspect. Honestly, I think these are, in the context of a combat-based game and a role-playing game, Oathbreaker is a challenge in itself. Great to role-play, you get a lot more freedom, you can start to do maybe intrinsically evil things, or not nice things, shall we say. In addition to that, you get some awesome abilities, and you still get to heal your friends and compatriots, and still get auras and things like that. But you get Control Undead and Dreadful Aspect, so you can frighten nearby enemies. You also get slightly different oath spells. You get get Hellish Rebuke and Inflict Wounds. I think both are great. Inflict Wounds maybe in a melee character where you're going to be smiting, not so great, although maybe that's something you could do once your smites have run out. Hellish Rebuke, I love that. It's you can set that as a reaction, and you can basically say anyone that attacks you, you can be asked whether you want to react to that by damaging them back with 2d10 fire damage. Sorry if that made a noise. And so let's just accept that. Alright, level 4, we're going to get feats as normal. Let's just pick the same one. Let's go to level 5 and see what other options we get there. The extra attack, as we said, we also get Crown of Madness, and we get Darkness. So slightly different spells that we pick up as oath spells. Otherwise the spell's pretty much the same. Let's go to level 6, where we get our Aura. Okay, and of course that's Paladin Aura, so we get Aura of Protection. Let's go to level 7. And we get, let's take a look, it's Aura of Hate. So you may have experienced this on another character that you might come across, but Aura of Hate, you and any nearby fiends and undead gain an additional 2 to damage dealt with melee weapons Um, that means that if you are controlling undead or if you're controlling fiends, that can be great. If you multi-class with the Oathbreaker subclass Paladin, you're going to get, especially with warlocks or other maybe sorcerers, maybe animating the dead and so forth. Uh, then you can really buff up your minions with that skill. Obviously, at level 9, other paladins get, and this paladin gets additional auras or additional features, which I haven't gone into today, but I hope that was useful to you. I think Paladin is a wonderful class, gives you the option to kind of be good and try and maintain your oath and enjoy being, paragon of virtue. And maybe if you kind of get bored with that, maybe you want to multi-class. It's a great basis for multi-classing. Or if you get bored of, you want to try a different challenge from a role-playing perspective, try the Oathbreaker, see what happens there. Some of you may just want to go straight to Oathbreaker, and a good way of doing that is to pick, say, one of the Oath of Devotion, Oath of the Ancients, and then potentially doing something not so nice to an innocent bystander, in in a village or town or something like that. That can really, send you down the path of breaking oath fairly easily. Another thing to do is you could, there's certain goblins that you can interact with soon after you come across the Druid Grove. That might be an option. So, not too many spoilers. I hope I didn't ruin it for you, and I did give you fair warning. I hope this video was useful to you. Thank you so much for watching, and go forth and enjoy your Paladin. It's a wonderful class, either a single class or multi-class. It's a great basis for some great gameplay, and it's going to be a valuable member of your party. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next time.